First, a general information. I want to transmit some abilities that for sure will help the referees to control this problem. First, clear communication to the players in the pivot zone. Then, strict control and decision from the very beginning. Third, it's not only about too many progressive punishment, but also about convincing the players to play in accordance with the rules. Experience and personality will help too much. The decision must correspond to the action of the players. First, the referees must identify the proper progressive line following the criteria defined in the Rule 8. Remind, 8.2, fouls when progressive punishment is not necessary. 8.3, fouls when progressive punishment is required. And 8.4, fouls when a direct 2 minutes is a mandatory decision. Then they must follow this line until the end. Of course, a consistent line is necessary during the entire 60 minutes of the match. Also, a consistent line is necessary during all the matches in a long tournament. We must think in Olympic Games, World Championship, Continental Championship. Consistent line during all the big tournaments. Now it's time to show you some video examples of typical situation at the goal area line. Offensive foul in this zone will be the subject for the next IHF online seminar. First, a video example about fouls that don't require any other progressive punishment. As you can see in the video, the referees decide 7 meters and no other progressive punishment is necessary. The second typical situation in the pivot zone is about long holding and pulling down. In this video, we can understand what means exactly long holding to the pivot. Of course, a simple free throw is not enough. According with the Rule 8.4, a direct 2 minutes must be the correct decision of the referees. This so long holding of the T0 of the pivot without any option about the ball should be punishment immediately with a direct 2 minutes suspension. As we discussed in the first online seminar, to show here a yellow card is something like a joke. It's an administrative decision. Now, a couple of video examples about grabbing and pulling the shirt. This video belongs to the semi-final of the last men's senior world championship in France. You see, this is critical moments in the match. And we can see also the long grabbing the shirt of the pivot from behind. The only decision is the decision taken by the referees, direct 2 minutes suspension. We can see in this video how the defender is grabbing the shirt of the pivot without any fight about the ball. And then the decision is very correct, direct 2 minutes suspension, the information of the referee is good, and the player fairly accept the decision of the referee. We'll see now 2 video samples about what means pushing to the pivot. In the video, you can see how the defender is pushing from behind to the pivot. And then the appropriate decision is correct, direct 2 minutes for the defender. But please, I want to call your attention about the behavior of the attacker. He provokes a little the punishment with his overreactions. In any case, the decision of the referee is good, but at the same time, the pivot must receive a clear message from the referee. Please, anymore this kind of behavior. You can see here in the video the transition of the wing player into the pivot position. And then the reaction of the defender is a little bit late, pushing her from behind. The decision of the referees is so very correct. 7 meters plus direct to mid immediately. Also, pay attention to the body language and the information of the goal referee. In this video, you can see how the defender used tactically the goal area, getting clear advantage over the pivot, even more when the attacker team is playing with one player less. The information of the referees is good, but in this moment, at the end of the first half, the correct decision should be a progressive punishment. One example about the pivot acting in the area of the outside defender, because this is one of the most important situations in the last year. In the video, you can see strong pivot placed in the position of the outside defender. And then the only solution for this defender is to make a foul, something like pushing or holding him. And then the reaction of the goal referee is immediately showing a yellow card as a progressive punishment. The defender player accepts the decision. And what about the progressive punishment at the same time against the pivot and the defender? In the video, you can see the decision of the referees about double direct to minis against both players. But as we discussed earlier, this should be only the very last options. Before, the referees must use personality, experience, and punishment, and to find who is the more guilty or who is the first guilty. It looks clearly that in this situation, this double punishment is not the best decision. In this case, maybe the best decision should be to punish only the defender. You can see the reaction. The defender is so happy and the attacker is so angry. We are now in the boomers match, in the pivot zone. While the pivot tried to fight for a good position, the defender is guilty of pushing several times. And then at the end, the decision of the referee is to punish both players. No reason, nobody can understand, especially the attacker. Sorry, but the referees must use personality, experience, body language, and information from the very beginning. This should be only the last possibility. In this case, direct to minis for the defender player should be enough. Now, we show you a couple of examples about the last tendency in the pivot zone. In the video, you can see how the pivot is holding the t-shirt of the defender with one hand while with the other catch the ball. And then half a second later, he provokes the 7 meter decision plus direct to minis punishment against the defender player. The goal referee and the field referee both are responsible to detect and to punish this situation as soon as possible. This new tendency happen in men's and in women's matches, especially with strong pivots. You can see in the video example how the pivot is able to control the ball with one hand, while with the other hand is clear guilty of long holding the shirt of the defender. So never can be goal. The goal referee is clearly responsible in this moment to punish not only with offensive foul, also a progressive punishment should be appropriate in this moment.